JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Friday, November 21st, 9/21. A really quick rant here. Talk about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P futures into the green, was teetering into the red overnight. Hit lows at about 5:30. SPY all the way down 649. Got down to, let's see, yeah, 649.45, about 5:30. And then been bouncing around. Then at 7:30, you have one of the Dallas Fed president coming out, talking about the possibility of a rate cut in December, putting the possibility to say, yeah, we're open to a rate cut now. It's kind of like back and forth. Funny, it's like the market the last couple of days, oh, market's down because of the concerns the Fed's not going to cut rates in December. So that probability was like 85, 90% a month ago, all the way down to 30% or so. And now his comments this morning, it's back up to 78%. You make heads or tails about it. Who knows? Yesterday, it's funny, at 10:45, I was looking back at the time. It's exactly the highs pretty much right at the SPY. And it's not like there was a headline, no catalyst, no remark, no POTUS tweet. It was just like that's the time that there were less buyers than sellers, and then the market just started to sell, and it wasn't, and it was just kept selling, and then reversed into the red, nearly a 2% wipeout on the Nasdaq within an hour and 15 minutes by noon hour, and then kind of what you want to see during the afternoon is some kind of bounce. We didn't really get that, so we'll see how today plays out. There's scenarios, and I talked about on the rant and the watch list yesterday. Is like I thought NVIDIA earnings and the reaction. It wasn't about the earnings per se; it was the reaction, the market reaction. And at first, it looked great, right? And it was kind of like a collective sigh of relief. And then, sure enough, it's like, was it the NVIDIA earnings? Like if NVIDIA had posted a miss and the market's futures were in the red and markets were selling off yesterday, would they have reversed into the green, right? I mean, those are the things just will drive me crazy thinking about. But hey, we'll see. Today's a big day, right? To follow up to see if there's continuation, if this is the start, or I wouldn't even say the start because markets were already on a 4-session losing streak into Wednesday, or is this the end of like a mini greed reset? And a lot of these names in AI space has already been pummeled. A lot of nuclear names. So to think that we don't have some kind of greed reset, I mean, take a look at Oracle, right? It's 208 right now. How much is that down now? 38% from its 345 high, somewhere in there. So to think that maybe some of this has been done or incomplete, that's kind of like the question of the day. Is this the middle innings, or are we kind of at the end and markets find some footing? So you already have the Uber perma bear. I wouldn't even call it perma bull, excuse me. Tom Lee saying this is kind of the bottom. I mean, but he's been saying it's been bottom for a while, but he's been right on the bull side. I mean, the market's been on an epic tear. So we'll see how things here play out. It continues the SPY's guardrails. So if you take a look on the 658s, an annotation I've had there for quite some time. We were under that for a little bit yesterday before bouncing. Key area. So hopefully we can get above that and rally today. If we do, I think there's some bounce opportunities. If not, can't rule out. I think I said it like 2 days ago. If we broke 650, I think 630, 631 or so is coming. So hate to see that happen, but got to be open to both possibilities, because if you're just piped in on extremes of either having all in calls, all in puts, you're just going to get wiped, especially in this environment. So I'll continue to be selective, keep things small, and then scale out on the ways up or down, right? Which allows you to take emotion out of the trade and allows you to hold. The hardest part of the option trade isn't the getting in, right? Getting in's the easiest to hold. And then what can you hold for? If you can, some people don't have the risk tolerance to hold for more than 100%, which is great, right? But to me, especially when you're trading with options, a lot of risk. So a lot of times your positions are going to go to zero. So the only way to offset that is to have huge multi-baggers, right? In my opinion. So, and that's how I trade. So I'll continue to look for opportunities on that in regards to, up and down, and then using the SPY as the guardrail. 658 today. The ideal today or ideal scenario would be a gap and trap this morning and then a reversal. I don't know if we'll get that. If we do that, there'll be some phenomenal opportunities on the call side. If not, I might look for some puts into next week. Broadcom has been stubborn. That could be a name that finally cracks. You look at some of these names too on the charts. A lot of them are near their 200-day moving average. Broadcom is still miles away from that. So I'm not saying maybe the market's pricing in, it's priced like that for a reason, or maybe there's an opportunity. So that's overall markets. Just quickly, I have 4 minutes to the close, to the open here. The big name that I've been watching over the last couple of weeks is SanDisk. I mean, it's not a name I've watched for months or this year, just recently, especially in September, October with the run. And it's been a great proxy for market sentiment. And every time the market looked like it was going to tumble, SanDisk was sitting there in the green. I'm like, wow, relative strength compared to the market's probably going to bounce. And that's what happened. Yesterday was one of the few times S&P's up 1.5%, Nasdaq's up 2%, and SanDisk is tumbling. I'm like, that's probably a sign we're going to have some reversal. Sure enough, I'm not saying that's 100% the tell signal, but I'll continue to look at it today. It's up $10 here in the pre-market. If that continues to find footing today, I think that could bode well for a bounce. I was saying under 200 and above 350 on SanDisk. We got under $200. I'm not saying this one is over on SanDisk, so I'll continue to look on both sides of that trade. And then other names, if we are at the kind of the end of this greed reset, other names that look great in Serve Robotics yesterday. It was 975. I'm like, that's my trigger point. I almost pulled the calls on some January strikes, and then the selling came. So thankfully I didn't pull the trigger there, but I'll continue to look at that one. Same with Lemonade. It was great. I think it was $77 at 1045. That came all the way back down, actually holding up pretty well in the pre-market. Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, $68 here. And then, other names too. Adobe, right? 52-week lows. I think it's down 6 sessions in a row. Of course, my puts aren't paying. So maybe today's the day it has a big sell-off. I think that's it. We got 5 minutes to the open. Also, great little piece in the Market Watch this morning. The canary in the coal mine. It makes you click on it. But then the click part of it is that this is SoftBank, right? SoftBank, the big stake they had already rolled out of NVIDIA, I guess, right? That was the big bear piece at the start of the week or last week. But they have a $10 billion stake or $12 billion stake in OpenAI, and it's a $20 billion company. So that's kind of like a proxy for it. That's the canary in the coal mine. That's it anyway. So playing at the open, I still have a couple of freebies, oracles, the ASMLs. I'll probably lock those in right at the open and then go from there. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.